Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Finn React. Today it's more tier list stuff, and now we talk about what makes wrestling entertainment. Now, there are superstars that are good, there are female superstars that are good, but what about the tag teams? I mean, the tag teams are what makes a great duo work together to eventually be on their own. I mean, we've seen plenty of tag teams. But the WWF and WWE did have some amazing tag teams. So, let's do a list. Now, the list is very simple. We got the GOAT teams, the great teams, the okay teams, the needs improvements, and the trash. Well, let's start off the list very simply. Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Well, here's the thing. They never won a tag team. And honestly, as much as they were entertainment, their performance was actually pretty crappy. They could have been, I would think if they need more improvement, they should have just focused on the wrestling rather than the persona. But, you know what? I didn't think they were a great tag team, and I thought there were plenty tag teams that were better. Rated RKO. I mean, they were a very okay team, to be honest. I mean, yes. Of course, you have two big head stars of Edge, Adam Copeland, and Randy. I mean, they were tag team champions. They did have some good matches with teams like DX, the Hardys, Cena, Michaels, etc. I didn't think they were a great team. I mean, each of them were good on their own and different tag teams like Edge was with Christian. But they were okay for its time in 2006, 2007. Street Profit. See, I think right now, and I kind of would say it, they do need a little bit of improvement. What they're doing right now with Bobby is the right approach? No. I think if they get away from Bobby Lashley, they can do a little bit better and be more of a heel tag team that we can actually enjoy. But, you know, they do have tag team championship around their waist, but they do need the big push that's going to make them the category of good teams. The Spirit Squad. Give me a B. Give me an A. Give me a D. What's that spell? Bad. I mean, they're still kind of out there. I mean, Kenny, Mikey, and Mitch were doing indie events. Nowadays, the only one that's actually talked about is Kenny Dykstra because he's part of the WWE producers. Otherwise, they weren't really that much of a special of a team, even though they did win a championship. The LOD, Legion of Doom. Now, here's the thing. I would have to say they're a GOAT team because, you know what? For their career, they dominated a lot of tag teams. It was just terrible the way that it all changed in 1999 when Hawk was going through a rehab phase and just they just kind of went bad with it by adding draws to it too. And, you know, that one more shot in 2003 is just, you know, but they were a legendary team, so they do deserve the GOAT title. Anderson and Galloway, the Good Brothers, the Bullet Club, etc., etc. Here's the thing. I think they need more of an improvement right now. Right now, too. Yes, outside WWE, they are like one of the top teams in Japan. WWE, I mean, other than what they're doing right now with NXT, I don't see them as a top team. They still got a lot more work to do, so hopefully it's just like Street Profit. We see them get better. The Undisputed Era. I mean, they were an okay team for its time. I mean, you got a lot of good individual stars in the indies. I mean, don't get me wrong, Red Dragon is a tag team that is great in ROH. The problem is with Bobby Fish being in MLW, Kyle O'Reilly still hurt, Roderick's part of the Undisputed Kingdom, and now Adam Cole as well. They're great individuals, but it's weird to see them like with tag teams. So I think they're okay. They were okay in NXT. Could they have been future tag teams of like the Hardys, Edge and Christian, Dudley's, Hart Foundation, all them? Not really. Team Angle. I will slightly say they are okay. I think the reason why I don't go anywhere further is because, once again, all three of them were great on their own. Shelton Benjamin was a great person to be on its own. Same with Haas. Kurt Angle was definitely a good teacher for them, and having Paul Heyman as a manager, it helped. So, they were very okay for the time of WWE. So, Mega Power, Macho Man, and Hulk Hogan. Great team. Just wish they did more with it. That's all I could say. Great team. We need more of it instead of the rival. The New Age Outlaw, BG James and Kip James, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. They are, to me, a GOAT team. You have entertainment, you have catchphrases, you have them being part of D-Generation X, you have them having their own kind of skills in the ring. I mean, hell, Billy is fighting at the age of 50, and you guys see the size of Billy? He still looks like he's in great shape that he was back in 1997. I think there'll always be a great team that people can look and say, you know what? I want to be just like them. And they will. Edge and Christian, once again, I will have to say they are a GOAT team. Edge and Christian was the big tag teams of 1999 when you have ENC, the Hardys, Acolytes, Dudleys, etc. Edge and Christian innovated the TLCs with the Hardys and Dudleys. Multiple tag team championships. Multiple single championships on their own. And still right now they're competing in the same company against each other, but definitely consider them one of the few bets of WWF. DIY. I would say now, if I look in the state of now, they definitely need more improvement. But you know what? They're great individuals, and they were great at what they do. They were a tag team, so it did work out for them being tag team champions. I would definitely put them as an okay team, but they do definitely need more improvement. British Bulldog and Owen Hart. Once again, great individuals, great talent for each one of them. Were they a big tag team that people said, I want to be just like them when I grow up? Not really, but they were an okay team to me. The Hart Foundation. For the early 90s, these were the tag teams that people loved to watch. To me, they were great. You had the strength of Jim Neidhart, the technician skills of Bret Hart, and they grown with that family after that with the addition of Owen Hart, Brian Pillman, British Bulldog. The great glue that make the team. But for those two in the early 90s, great tag team. Greatest rival with the Rockers. So, they are great. But they weren't like a GOAT team. The Bludgeon Brothers. Okay. I was going to say, who the hell are they? First of all, rest in peace, Brody Lee. See, I had to think about this more. They were great as the Wyatt family with Bray and Braun. If I had to look at what they were back when they were the Bludgeon Brothers, they definitely needed more improvement. So, I think they could have done better with it. X-Pac and Kane, okay. Once again, great individuals, great background to what they were. They were an okay team. I mean, they did their whole run in 1999, and then they ended in 2000, which caused a rival between them involving Tori as well. I think they could have done more with this group with X-Pac and Kane, but you know what? They did the whole thing with them versus Big Show and Undertaker, so I think that's reasonable where they should go. The Rockers. Once again, early 90s, you had Hart Foundation versus the Rockers. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. Mario Jannetty, Jim, they did break up, which was one of the greatest breakups heel turn in WWF history. Early, I would say, but they were a great team. I don't know if the Rockers ever won tag team. Hold on, let's confirm. Did the Rockers ever win a tag team championship? They never held the championships. Okay. Okay, we can actually keep them for now. I mean, for their time, they were very influential that made people. DX is a GOAT, one of my favorite tag teams in the WWF. You have two great former heavyweight champions of Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and you had them working together back in 1997 to about the end of 1998, 1999. Braun back in 2006. Won championships. I mean, nowadays, Shawn Michaels running NXT. Triple H is running WWE. You know what? If you guys think anything different than being GOATs, then you are sadly mistaken. Rock and Sock Connection, they did win championship. But once again, we're in the categories of great individuals, great history, a championship they both had. I would have to rightfully put them as a great team. I think if they could have done more, but you know, with two individuals with the same kind of persona of entertaining the crowd, you really can't change what Rock and Sock brought to the WWF. Fandango and Breezango, I guess they were called. They did the whole gimmick stuff, fashion police stuff. They never won championships. They kind of pushed away after they were done. I mean, after all, they needed to do more with them, so I'll put them as a trash. Carlito and Primo. The Colon brothers, or I used to call them the Colon brothers. I think they could have done differently with these guys, but, you know, they won championships, so I can't really say much. Too Cool. I love Too Cool. The great personalities of Sky Too Hottie, Grandmaster Sexy, put Rikishi in that mix. You had three people that just made the crowd love wrestling. And the fact of the matter is, too, that you had them with the dancing and the worm. In my personal preference, I think they're an okay team. They're great with getting the crowd drawn to them. But I'm only going that because if I go anything further, you guys are going to say that I'm being very biased. Team Hell No. Oh, man. Again. Great individuals. Great backgrounds they both brought to the wrestling business. Entertainment as it is, they're kind of like Rock and saw connection. They both had that personality, and I think it worked. I mean, they could have done a lot more, but you know what? It all kind of became this whirlpool of anger and weird personalities and weird stories. I'm only going further than that. The New Day won the few longest reigning champions in WWE history. Here's the thing. I don't like the New Day. They definitely made WWE entertaining now because of their personalities, of how all three of them work. But to me, they're close to GOAT, but I think they could do a lot more with New Day. It's different now with Big E being on the sidelines still and Kofi and Xavier being like mid-card again. I just think they need to do more right now. I think once Big E finally comes back, they could do better, but we're going to wait till see what happens. The Bar. I almost called him by his... Technically Cesaro and Sheamus, or Claudio Castagnoli and Sheamus. I wasn't really into this one. I think they could have done more stuff differently with The Bar. It just didn't at the end kind of like got boring and people were like, okay, whatever. War Raiders. Definitely, I think they need more improvement. I think the problem is that they're with, I forget his name, being on sideline right now, and trying to get Ivar being an individual. They worked a lot better as a tag team because of their strength and the fact that they could do things for big guys that seems impossible. So I have to say it's only legit we put them as a need improvement style. The Usos definitely consider a GOAT team for our modern time because of what they've done for the WWE. Now being individuals, we're getting to see more of who they are, but for them being the longest reigning tag teams in WWE history, well-deserved GOAT. The Brothers of Destruction obviously are going to be a GOAT team. Two big individuals like DX of Kane and Undertaker kicking everyone's ass. There's nothing really more I can say is that if you don't agree with them being a GOAT team, you know, I won't be mad, but I will be a little bit unimpressed. The Dudley Boys. Once again, I had to put them as a category of GOATs because of the innovation they had for the TLC. And where a lot of people using tables, that's where the Dudleys come in. Now with Bully being a podcast, semi-time wrestler, and then Devon being a WWE producer, definitely I would have to say they are part of the big groups. Alright, AOP. The only problem with the AOP now is that they're kind of brought back, but they're not brought back being used right. So I think definitely where they are now, just like Street Profit, the Good Brothers, and the War Raiders, definitely need improvement for them to be better. And I have to say the Hardy Boys are next. One of my favorite tag teams. Definitely a great GOAT team. The fact that they're still wrestling after how much falls and damage they took to their body, it definitely shows the dedication they bring to wrestling. I think one more tag team title in AEW and then call it that. Unless Jeff goes back to jail again. The Nasty Boys. They did win the championship. But they weren't a team, I think, when I think back to the 90s. I don't think much about, the Nasty Boys. I put them as an okay team. For the time of the 90s, they were probably a big hit. I just never really found them entertaining. Jericho. I didn't like this tag team. I just think the problem was that they didn't gel together. You have two big individuals with two big egos for the fact that it worked for the time for WWE was impressive, but I think it was just a terrible team concept. Demolition. Okay. Forgot they had 3. I always thought there was 2. I think they would go in the same category as Nasty Boys. Big 90s team. Big group of individuals. But I don't know. The Crime Time. Rest in peace, Shad Gaspar. I think they were underused. The problem is they had tag teams championship written all over them. They just never had the chance to show off as a tag team. So, yeah, I would have to put them as a need of improvement. They could have been a future tag team. The Bushwhackers. I don't think they ever won a championship. Did the Bushwhackers ever win tag team championships? No, not Milwaukee Brewers. Did the Bushwhackers win tag team championship in wrestling? They won the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championship. So they never won a big championship in WWE. But for them being entertaining, they could have done better. Entertaining side, they were a great tag team. People love them. But when it comes to wrestling in general, I would say trash. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. I will say they did make major improvements in work when they did the whole thing, when they did Major Brothers to the Edgeheads. And then they went their own way, and that really never worked, except for Zack. I think they could have been more improved better than just Edge. But, whatever. APA, one of my other favorite tag teams. I think they were great tag teams. I think they gelled together. And they worked up until 2003 before Bradshaw became JBL. And Farouk became, Farouk. Ron Simmons. Damn. Great tag team. Great time being tag team championship. Well-deserved history for both of them. Prime Time. Yes, they've won tag team championship. I just think they need more done with the Prime Time. I think just having managers wasn't the best idea, but I think they're both doing their own kind of thing now. Fred or Darren Young was in Japan. Titus is somewhere in WWE. I don't know where. Definitely needs more work. Chad Gables and Jason Jordan. This was a tag team I thought was going to go far. And then they just ruined it. They just ruined it because the fact that you had great young guys and it worked. And then after that, they split their group. And then they both did their own thing. Nowadays, Jason Jordan's a producer for WWE. And Chad Gable still wrestles for the Athletic Academy with Otis. And has Maxine. Ooh. Anyway, I think well-deserved, needs improvement. Because I feel like they never got the gold opportunity that they deserve. The Revival / FTR. I think to me they are okay team, In WWE, I felt like they were very underused. They could have been far with the wrestling than they are now in AEW. But WWE never gave the shot for them. So to the back of the line they went, and eventually they became a big name in AEW. So, yeah, well-deserved, okay in WWE. Eminem. Again, they could have been a future, and I think they are a well-deserved future, but the problem is, I don't know. I just think they could have been a lot different, better used. Rhino and Heath Slater. For what they did with Heath Slater, I think it was definitely a good run. But I think it was just not used right after a while, and it just got boring what they did with Heath Slater. He has like 17 plus kids, right? Danny Burch and Oni Larkin. How do I know this? Whatever. Trash. They never really entertained me. Los Guerreros. Once again, I think they were a great team. You had the legendary Eddie. You had legendary Chavo. Both gelled it with the mixture of Lucha Libre and tag teams. Definitely great individuals, with Eddie having a World Heavyweight Championship, Chavo having the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. I think they were a great team. Were they better than teams like, Edge and Randy Orton? Way better. They gelled. The Shield. Okay. This is a weird thing because, yes, they gelled together on paper. And they gel as individuals. I'll put them as a great tag team because of what they did with the Shield a lot. Nowadays, Seth is, doing Seth Rollins stuff. Roman Reigns is the tribal chief, and Jon Moxley is in AEW. Still killing it. The Ascension, crap. That's all I can say, crap. They could have done more with them, but it was a knockoff of the LOD and Demolition and every horrible generic 90 team combined to fail. Miz and Morrison. Okay. I think they were okay because of the fact that they worked together. And they did hold the championship for a while. And then they went their own way, where Miz became a multiple singles tag team championship. Same with John. I don't know how many nicknames you have now, but Morrison, Nitro, Graham Pumbaa. I don't know. What is his last name, guys? Hennigan? Anyway, I don't know. Deuce and Domino. Trash. No one liked them. Otis's tag team. I want to say trash. But they could have been designed differently. Let's see. Do I change anything off the list? No. I like the list. If anything you see different, guys, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't yet, guys. Subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more with a tier list idea. Thank you for watching. This is Michael, signing out.